Hello. Today we're going to cover how to complete the Pulse setup sheet that we've sent you to get your site up and running. We have an index page here when you first open it, so you can either click on the name of the page or we have the tabs along the bottom. So first page that we're going to go to is company information, and this is going to be some basic information about your company. If you have one building or one location, we just need you to fill out the left-hand side. If you have another branch or building that uses different data folders within your point and you want to have them listed with their appropriate company or branch location information, feel free to fill out this right side form. But if you don't worry about it. We also have a link here to open an email for you and send your company logo. Go ahead and send that back to us. That way we can get that uploaded to your company website and start working on the Pulse site for you. Our next tab is the email grid. We do have a number of emails pre-set up in the system, and you'll see that we have some internal roles for your office, like the loan officer, processor, and so forth, checked off. These are currently running for your site if you're not a Pulse conventional or Pulse proxy customer of ours. And these are how we tell which emails need to go out and to which role off of the file we're going to send it to. So for your information, we need you to go across each row. You can take a look at a sample of each of our emails here by clicking on the name and seeing the content. You can always update that if you want to write out your changes in the email. When you send this form back, we can update the text in that message to whatever you'd like. But for that email to go out, the way that it works is that our program will look at your point file and see that the date box is marked with today's date. We're giving you the list of the field IDs here that we're using. These are just the default ones Calyx has, where the names are. We're going to generate this email using the this column's role information, so their email address. So if you want to change that to the loan officer or the doc prep or some other role, feel free to adjust this, as we'll use their email address as the one that is getting credit for sending it to the clients. Moving across, we have the internal roles within your office that you can assign on the point file under the track branch page. If you want them to receive a copy of this when it goes out for a file, simply mark the box. And then we have a number of other fields or contacts on the file. Obviously the borrower and the co-borrower, and then the contacts here from the track agent list. Our custom agent 1 and 2 are the first two unlabeled contacts right under the title insurance and school property tax. So if you do want a couple of extra fields that aren't labeled within point, that would be custom agent 1 and 2. 1 is your left-hand column, 2 is your right-hand column as you go down. If you have any other special notes, we have a space for that. If you want to let us know other things about each particular email you're setting up or special conditions or something like that, just let us know in that space there. The next page is our texting option. So in addition to having an email go out, we can also text the client and their agents. So again, we have the name of the status that we're looking at, the date box that we're referencing to cause this to go out, and then we have our message here. Now this message is going only to the borrower and the co-borrower. So if you'd like to change the text in that, feel free to update that. We will change it on your site. To the right of it, we have a borrower and co-borrower option. So if you only want the borrower to receive the text, that's fine. Just unmark the co-borrower for us, and we'll update that. Now for our agents, we have more generic text because we don't have the ability to insert specific borrower names and file information into a text. So we're indicating here in our text alert to them that they need to check their email for the email alert. Now, if you would like that to go out to the other agents you have selected on the email grid, simply mark the box and we'll update it so that they get those for you. In addition, we have some of the adverse statuses here at the very bottom, suspended, canceled, and denied. The only difference here is that we've changed the message that goes, we've changed the text too, but the message that we've changed for the agents has changed slightly because it is an adverse status versus a affirmative status of moving forward. We just adjusted the text a little bit there. So in any case, if you'd like to change the text message that goes out to one of those respective parties, feel free to update the wording in here and we will update it on your site. Our next page here is the list of your employees that will be using Pulse. These will all be paid active accounts, so make sure that you give us everybody that you want to have sending the emails or reference to sending the emails, and those that need to be given credit at the bottom of it, where we have the loan officer and processor information. You want to list out all those people here in this form. On the right side where we have title, feel free to choose their appropriate role. The executive is going to be the administrator of the account. Branch manager could be a branch manager. It could also be kind of a second tier manager within the office. So if you want to have them have a little bit more permissions, you can use that. We also have two roles that are exclusive to Pulse, the loan officer assistant and the junior processor. So if you do need a couple of extra roles, you can use those. Those do not sync in from Point though. So it's our recommendation if you have maybe an assistant or something like that within the office, and you're not utilizing all of the underwriter, closer, doc prep, and shipper positions, assign them one of those roles. Let us know which role you're using, and then that will allow us to sync it in from the Point file, and you don't have to worry about assigning it through Pulse exclusively. If you are using all of those, then we do have those two extra roles for you to kind of give you some extra space to add people onto the file for the notices and everything. Our last tab is our Point folders. So what we're looking for is the name of each of your folders that you want us to deal with through Pulse. We will be picking up all the files in the folders that you list, so please make sure you're aware of that. If you don't want us to do anything with that folder, just leave it off the list and we will not sync that in. But if you do want to use it, at least at very minimum for marketing or some follow-up emails and that kind of thing, please do list that here. But we'll need the folder name, and then we need a designation as to what kind of file types you're saving in there. We use 4 different ones. Active leads, which would be like your current prospects, your files that you've just kind of accumulated the basic information for. They're not technically loans yet, but you're working on them. Active loans, which are your current active loan files, going through processing or underwriting or further on. We have archived loan, which are going to be your closed files. They're archived or they're stored. They're not really being changed actively. They're there for storage purposes. And then we have archived lead, which are going to be your canceled, denied, adverse kind of statuses. If you have a folder that's designated for just that. And for each folder that you have in the list, if you just choose one of those, we'll make sure that it's set up properly and that our system is understanding what type of folder and its contents are there. We cannot separate a folder though into the borrower and the prospect halves that Point offers. Our folders are considered the whole unit. So if you are currently using the prospect for your leads and the borrower side for loans, we will need you to change that, or we'll have to kind of work around it, but you won't have necessarily full functionality. It might be a little bit of a workaround to do that. So we do encourage people to use strictly the borrower side of a folder and have a folder for each type of process. So a lead folder, a loan folder, a closed, and a canceled. That kind of gives us the basic outlets, and if you're staying in the borrower side, it gives you, as the point user, full functionality of the file from the start. If you have any other questions about the setup sheet, please feel free to let us know, and we look forward to working with you.